What are you doing?
Right, I'm just back combing. I finished curling. I've separated from the top of the crown, and I'm just back combing a little bit just to get some volume. Making sure it's like somewhat neat.
It's easier to use this one.
It's easier to use this one.
For back combing, because that's like the back brushing brush, and it's and then it when you comb over, it smooths it out really nicely.
Oh, let's go with some. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
I know what I'm doing.
totally. I'm not sure if I can.
That's a start. Is it the greatest? No, but
That is okay, because this is the start. This is the start of our journey of this year, and it's okay.
Do you have a hair like you?
Yes, I do, but you'll need to take a notice. It's right between,
Yes. Yeah.
Ready, and...
Okay, I am going to just put her hair in a ponytail. And we stop there. No, I'm totally kidding. That's not how it ends.
Never. No.
That's great.
I eat worms.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
I'm going to loosen the
I feed them
ponytail
too.
just a little bit.
Yeah, like a little bird. You got
Make a hole in the center. Okay, so I've just inverted the ponytail. Do you mind if I just...
Yeah, of course. Wait, let me do that.
No worries.
Did you find these? Just in the
Like
first
that?
cupboards.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
It's all good. There we go.
Look at this. See? We got a little bit under pressure. We did something amazing.
I should not be putting this in my mouth. I know.
You should not.
I'm sorry. This is so bad of me.
Naughty, naughty.
But I'm taking my fingers and... Shut up.
Shush. Shut up.
And I'm twirling it around my two fingers and then taking it and pinning it in random spots. Like that. Now I'm going to try again and not put the pin in my mouth because that is karate behavior.
That is not work health and safety.
How did I do this? Yeah. Sure. Well.
You'll be able to watch it back and figure it out. Do you want me to hold my laptop again?
No, you do it. Again, this is not going to be the cleanest, but also we don't have a lot
One sec, and then I'm going to bring it back.
No, you're so fine. Put it wherever you can, or like wherever you've got space to. No, not right now.
Stop trying to get loose. I see what you're doing. This is not a party. You are not getting loose. Just yet.
Do you guys want the roses? Maybe.
Take 3. Part 3.
So I've been doing the same thing over and over and over again.
See if I can get it a bit more.
And then for cultural reasons, I promise I'm not culturally appropriating. I hope not. I hope not.
Going to the jungle and we're going to get married.
Alright.
Oh Lord.
See you contemplating your life there, Jazz.
Just making sure that it's going along my head, not into my head.
Oh, you don't want to wish lobotomy?
No, not at the back. Not at the back of my head. It still needs to go through the eyeball.
Hey, she gets to decide how she does her lobotomy. Anyway,
I love wish lobotomies.
That is great.
curling in a going under motion, like Evanescence would say. And one just came loose. And another one just came loose. Where are the pins? I'm gonna steal the pins. This is not a robbery. Well, it is a robbery. I learn I get funnier when I am under stress.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know this person.
I'm stuck.
Sorry. Now, in theory, would this be able to last a whole wedding? No, it would not.
She's discouraging herself.
You know, there's little bits we can work on, such as hiding our bobby pins a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know, but you've got your stuff. Finish off your fringe and get your photo.
No, that doesn't need to.
But you've achieved.
Yeah, okay. Did you get your photo? I mean, technically, yes.
Okay, so did you not finish off the others this side?
I'll fall back.
Oh, okay. So
I don't think we're allowed to swear on here, are we?
have a bit of feedback together. See what, and like
Right,
have a
so
think
I'm
to
going
yourself
to
what
need
you
to go
could.
back through some of my
Oh,
footage
I am
and
very self-critical.
do some bleeping.
It is okay.
You know, but like think about what you. And then you've got a couple of
Just gonna take out.
yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. Between my husband.
Do you want me to show you a little tricky? So, with my fringe, tricks bitches. With my fringe, I find like doing this gets the volume in underneath it, and you can then just making sure I'm not actually interacting with just a little bit at the top where it separates, and then kind of like pushing underneath. There you go. So, did you see how I did it?
Yes.
Yeah, so kind of like smooshing it where it would naturally split, just to kind of tease it.
I guess short videos are probably better anyway because I'll like fit in. Eyebrows or eyes? Eyebrows. Okay, eyes can be open. Oh, they're so like different, but I can't really change them. So, yeah.
Once you finish the cleansing process, just make sure everything goes back into your baskets neatly and just bring it back up here, and it will give you some more bench space. And especially get rid
It
of
kind of
the
start looking
water,
like every
wash
day.
your bowls out,
Just like
dry them,
every day it's different.
pop
So
it back here. Just at the moment, we just need that bench space. Cool. Good. It's getting used to working in confined spots.
ooh, I like that color. That is the one.
Soft brown.
Ew.
I did in fact still need this.
Yeah, you always kind of need the remover with the Q-tips.
I was wrong. Q-tips. And also just gently. Maybe not. Bridal wedding makeup, and it's like, oh, I'm not used to having my eyebrows done. So I did her eyebrows, and she was like, that's what I look like with eyebrows.
Like an actual wedding you did?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was a So what vibes are you going for your wedding was?
Cultural.
Oh, okay.
So I'm kind of mixing cultural and theme and doing like Greek, but like what like Greek goddess kind of makeup was a gold and glowy and stuff.
I've kind of got the similar vibe, but
Yeah.
more. You've seen the way the makeup is in Bridgerton?
I
Sort of
love
like
that.
Yeah.
That's really cute.
Like a cute, soft romantic with the slight twist of Regency.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
So Sarah, what look are you going for?
So do you want to like solo your makeup?
I
Was that a good job?
well, it is already technically
Yeah.
kind of my job. I'm also trained to be an actor. That's like one of my main things.
Yeah. Have you got any little things going on with that?
I mostly do theatre, but
Yeah.
obviously there is filming, and I've on a few sets I've doubled as a makeup artist and an actress.
Oh, which can get a little bit a lot.
At times. There was one film which I'm not allowed to exactly spoil completely, but it was the day where I had a massive scene,
Yeah.
and was meant to have a prosthetic on me, but I can't actually get to that part of my body by myself, so I had to ask someone else to.
Did they want you to do it on yourself?
Yeah.
Oh.
But then I was like, hey, that's not possible. Not to mention, that's a lot on me. Because I was. Okay, I'm gonna go back into one of those. Put that behind there.
Do it.
I love that this whole palette is just matte.
Yeah.
Amazing. Just what I need. There you go. Well, that's
Oh, this is a brush cleaner.
amazing. I think. Sorry. This was a blender that I used. Yeah, I think that one as well.
That's not a blender, but you can treat it as a blender.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go this. So we'll go softer. So see how you're getting this line here?
Oh,
Yeah, just shift this over a little bit, very gently. Just shift it to do a little jagged edge like that, top and bottom. Just to get rid of that harshness. And looking up now, and looking down.
It's not too overwhelming.
Pardon? No, just a little bit. I think you could probably bring this darker over here a little bit more, and just keep that in there. But the colour selection combination's lovely. Which palette did you use?
I used these three. So I used this one because I had a nice bone color.
Nice.
This one for
Shimmer?
the lids. I actually used this shimmer.
Yeah, nice.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, like goes, yeah.
And this for like the smoky line.
Beautiful. Do love it. Yeah, love it. And colour dress? What's your dress situation? How are we going with that costume?
It's green.
That's right. That'll look
pastel
lovely.
green one, yeah.
Yeah, nice.
And
I remember you showing me now.
The model's got like pink front pieces, so it'll
Blend.
tie together really
I
nice.
think so. Yeah, and you don't want the lips being too much. I think that nude brown sort of soft look is lovely. This is lovely on the lip, but be careful on your model if they haven't got the lovely high cheekbones.
Yeah.
Just don't bring it too far in here. I love blush. Blush is just beautiful, but I think it can be too theatrical. So just tame it back if your model hasn't got that high cheekbone.
On Lily, it's okay?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, definitely. Very good.
Sorry, I'm just shining the light into your eye.
It's fine, that one's been in my eye the whole
And
time.
then just make sure, just make sure you just flatten off your edges here. Really make sure eyebrows, the colour's great. And just soften, make sure what you do to one side, you do to the other. But yeah, I'm very happy with that today.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. I'll give you back your brushes. They're just here. No worries. Awesome. So make sure you take a photo.
Okay, this is the assessment makeup that I do on Chloe. This is going to be a very long video, so I'm going to just stop and start in various points. Her hair's pinned back. I didn't have my light on me, mainly because my little light had stopped working. This is me washing her face. This is us gossiping. You can see the concerned look on my face while I'm gossiping. Yes, this is washing her face. Washing the face wash off of her face. Just to make sure it's nice and clean. She did wash her face beforehand, but you can never be too sure. Keep wiping. And Chloe mentioned that she had a couple of breakouts that day, which again, her skin still looks like really clear and beautiful. I'm a bit jealous, but again, it was nothing we couldn't cover up or fix. Now we're just popping on some moisturizer so the base makeup lies nice and smooth, applies nice and smooth. And don't forget the neck, especially because this is a A-line or Empire royal dress. Wipe the eyebrows because we don't want any moisturizer in the eyebrows. I think there is this little section here is me trying to experiment with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow Pomade that I brought in. It's very old and it's clearly dried out, and I forgot to bring some oil with me to reactivate it. So instead, I tried a little bit of moisturizer. Oh look, there's Delia. Hi Delia. I tried a bit of moisturizer and obviously that didn't work. So you should see me going over to the makeup table in a second to go get a pomade, which I believe was the LA Girl pomade. And I also used the LA Girl brow gel, the tinted brow gel that's in the shade blonde or like a light taupe. Because Chloe naturally has very light hair. I know it doesn't look like it, but this actually matched her eyebrows really nicely. And in Chloe's words, her eyebrows are twins, not sisters. In her case, apparently they're not even cousins. They're very distantly related relatives that met at a family reunion. So my main objective was definitely to make sure that both eyebrows were even and they were also looking clean and crisp. Yep, that's me walking away. That's me coming back. There we go. Much creamier. And I'm taking the pomade on one of my favorite brushes to use, actually. It is a flat. It's like an angled brush, but it's completely flat. And it makes applying eyebrows, eyeliner, anything that requires straight line and a straight thin line at that, it makes it so much easier. And as you can see, that pomade is working absolute wonders because her eyebrows already look 10 times better, even though they were already really nice. Common thing with eyebrows though is once they've been drawn in, they tend to look a little bit muddy. So some point I take a Q-tip that's covered in micellar. Ooh, look at that eyebrow. I take a Q-tip that's covered in micellar water and just gently clean up the edges so they're not blurring. We want some nice, clean, precise brows. And I will go back in again with some concealer just on the bottom line of the brow, and then I will drag that down and use it as a primer for my eyeshadow. There's the brow mascara or brow gel. Always remember to use a disposable spoolie, which is what I'm using at this moment. Look at the determination on my face. Who is she? Yeah, she looks cute. Alrighty. Now that we've wasted like 20 minutes on trying to make sure the eyebrows look halfway decent, I'm going to take some concealer, which is the lightest LA Girl shade, in the shade Buff. No, the lightest is actually Lavender, on a flat top concealer brush, and carve underneath the eyebrows and bring some of that down onto the lid to use as an eyeshadow primer. And make sure that it's blended out. I don't want to leave any streaks of concealer on the eyeshadow lid because that can hinder the application of the eyeshadow. Oh, I also cleaned up on the top. That's not something I always do, but in this case, since it's an assessment and I'm being photographed, or Chloe's being photographed, I wanted the eyebrows to look really nice and clean. You'll notice that there is a little bit of a harsh line from where the concealer ends on the outskirts of the eyes. That will eventually be blended in. Also, I brushed out the eyebrows once again, went back in with a little bit of brow powder just to make sure they are symmetrical, because that is one thing Tanya has been picking up on all of us, is that we need to have symmetrical eyebrows. What you do to one eyebrow, you must do to the other. I think in this part, I took that creamy white, that bone-colored color from the Crown palette, and just popped that all over the eye as a setting powder almost, as kind of like just a set color to start with. Then I went into the LA Girl Feverish palette, and I took a rosy neutral color and I just popped that all over the crease. I'm working in circular motions with a fluffy brush. Next, I use a slightly darker color from that same palette and pop in the lower part of the crease, which is, I guess, the outer V. I also have a separate brush that is completely clean just for blending purposes, and another brush that is covered in that bone white to make sure that the top part is blended. Which, little key trick, if you're struggling blending at the top or on the outsides of your eyeshadow, use the powder that you would use on your face. That is your skin color. I'm working in circular motions, and when it's an eyeshadow color that I know the whole eye is going to be taken up with, I use bigger colors when it's, I use bigger, fluffier brushes when it's smaller sections like a smoky line or just the outer V or even the inner corner. I use a smaller, denser brush so I can work on fine details. I'm just continuing. And at this point, I'm now realizing I have really bad lighting because, again, I didn't bring my light because it is busted. So I'm relying on Chloe keeping her head up and sheer hope that it is blended. And at the end of the day, it was. Because Chloe has slightly downturned eyes, the circular shape that the eyeshadow was doing really complemented her eyes. Now I'm taking one of the other crown palettes that I borrowed, and it is a dark plumish shade, and I'm just smoking that out on the outer part of the lash line. Once again, blending, blending, blending. You cannot blend enough when it comes to eyeshadow. It looks really pretty. I'm very proud of myself at this point. Yeah, there's me blending the tops again, because again, you can never be too sure. And because Chloe's got hooded eyes, I need to bring everything up so the eyeshadow can actually be seen, which is not a problem. At some point, I just take a shimmery color that was in the rose gold crown palette that I was using, and just pop that shimmery color on the brow bone and in the inner corner. Then on a dense packing brush, I take this LA Girl loose shimmer pigment. It didn't have a name of the actual color, but it was this beautiful, not rose gold, but a gold slightly pinkish tinge to it. And I just popped that on the inner portion of the eye, took one of my blending brushes and just gently diffused the line between the matte eyeshadows and the shimmer pigment. I did have a little bit of fallout with this, which was to be expected, so I made sure I needed to clean up with micellar water after all the eye makeup was done. I'm going back in with my favorite brush and making that smoky line just a little bit more prominent. Just looking very pretty. There I am, just cleaning up the edges, again with a cotton pad and micellar water. And if I'm right, I'm going to blend out the edges so they don't leave a harsh line. Yeah, there we go. Brilliant. I believe at this point, if we haven't already done the shimmer, yep, now we're doing the shimmer. So there's that dense packing brush. And again, because Chloe does have deeper set or hooded eyes, I'm applying that shimmer just a little bit higher than I would naturally go, just so the shimmer can be seen and appreciated. I'm just realizing how much we talk. Yep, there's me again doing the shimmer on the other eye. I think also diffusing it as well. Don't forget to diffuse it. cleaning up underneath because fallout is a thing. Also just cleaning around the edges and seeing if any concealer looks streaky and could possibly ruin the look, and I think that was just in between the eyebrows. Ah yes, there's the highlighting. I do go back in later on with a bit of highlighter, but this is just a little start. It's a base. Beautiful. Next eye, yes. Ah yes, diffusing. We cannot forget to diffuse, because Tanya picked up on that last time. I hadn't even noticed, so we're not making the same mistake again. There's Ella and Lily in the back. Say hi, guys. Now we're using the torture trap. I like to actually pulse the eyelash curler. I feel like it gives it a little bit more of a lift. I was going to say kick. Blending once again, because you can never blend too much. Now I'm using Chloe's mascara, so I don't have to use a spoolie. Now Chloe has naturally very watery eyes, so we were very careful and we took breaks here and there. There were a couple of mascara smudges which were easily fixable, but all in all, Chloe handled this like an absolute champ. But yeah, we're just applying some mascara beforehand before we do some eyelashes, which Chloe has never actually worn eyelashes before, so this was exciting. She's doing really well. That's one eye done. On to the next one. Gorgeous. And again, just forewarning, this is Chloe's mascara. I'm not being grotty. If it were the Taves mascara or any other mascara that I brought in, I would be using a spoolie. Look at her, she's so pretty. Okay, and I believe this is the part where we move on to eyelashes. Now the eyelashes actually stuck really well, unlike the previous time that I used them. Chloe was a little bit uncomfortable at first, but again, she's never worn eyelashes before, so that was to be expected, but over time she grew used to them. I just asked her to keep her eyes closed for the rest of it. And I also couldn't find my fan that day, so I couldn't fan her properly. And we're back, and we're going straight into hair. I part Chloe's hair down the center. I'm not too worried about her fringe because her fringe is actually doing what I want. We are sectioning the hair, and I want more hair on the bottom part of her hair than on the top. So the sectioning is not going to be equal, and that is okay. Clip that out of the way. Clip that out of the way, it can stay down though. Twist and pin that one up. Clip that one out the way. Now that one's coming down, and from the crown to behind the ear, I'm separating a little bit, and this is going to be my section for one of my fishtail braids. And that is the other one. There we go. Okay. Now using the top portion of the hair and my sectioning comb, I'm taking bits and pieces, small bits of hair, and securing them with elastic bands. Now this is going to be for my veiling. I do about 4 on the top. That's the first one. Admittedly, I am quite slow with this part, mainly because I want it to be perfect, and I think at first it was a little bit off kilter. I haven't used heat protectant on the hair just yet, mainly because I believe I curl afterwards. Yes. Once again, we're talking about something I don't know what we're talking about. But you can tell we're theatre kids because they're so bloody expressive. So in this part, I've sectioned the ponytails into 2 parts, and I connect one of each piece out of the 2 ponytails together to make almost kind of like an inverted ponytail look. No, she's looking pretty. So the other products used on the face were Priceline 3/4 lashes, an Essence eye brightener that I brought in on her waterline, which made her eyes water a little bit. Then I used a Crown HD primer. And I can't remember what foundation I used exactly, mainly because it was pretty much out and I was scraping the container. I didn't use too much concealer. I merely just put it under the eyes, and it was the same LA Girl in the shade Buff from the eyeshadow primer beforehand. Oh yes, this is me realizing that Chloe was sitting a little bit to the side and it kind of threw the whole thing off. Not Chloe's fault though, I should have probably mentioned it beforehand. Then I use, for the blush, I used a cream blush from a Crown palette. And to set that, I used the NARS blush in the shade Orgasm. Funny, I know. For setting powder, I used a mix, well I did not actually mix, but I used both the Ben Nye powder in the shade Natural and the Ben Nye powder in the shade Rose. So that way the blush had a little bit of more of a gradient effect. I also brought in a liquid highlighter from the Morphe X Madison Beer collab in the shade Fairy Tears. It was a pinkish highlighter that I thought would look really beautiful coming out from underneath the blush. Yes, this is me recorrecting my mistakes. Yep, so now I have my 4 pieces. I'm gonna start pairing them off. I also used a LA Girl strobe highlighter that was a bit of a rosy pink color, which I also thought would look really beautiful on the blush. Then I did a little bit of a different thing with the lips. I applied the lipstick first and then I applied the lip liner afterwards. So the lip shade I used was a Morphe lipstick in the shade Fling. I applied that on the center of the lips with a disposable doe foot applicator, and then I used the Miss Sporty lip liner that was supplied by the TAFE just to go around the outside. And I cleaned up with a little bit of concealer, and then I added a clear lip gloss over top. Then I set the face with the LA Girl setting spray. And I believe I do this afterwards. Oh, we are straight into fishtail braiding. This was a little bit difficult considering Chloe had washed her hair the night before, so her hair was very soft. But a challenge is a challenge. Basically all I have to do is essentially manipulate it to my liking. I connected all that together. This is where I start using the gold clamps. I'm using these just to cover all the elastic bands on the veiling so they don't look stupid. But the hair looks really pretty right now. There was one other makeup product that I used. I don't believe I got any footage of it, mainly because I used it right after I'd finished hair and right before we were about to go to the location. And it was the Ciate body balm. I'm not sure if it's actually labeled as such, but that is what I believe it is. And we just used it on Chloe's chest and on the shoulders. These flowers that I'm putting in Chloe's hair are some of the same flowers that are actually on the crown that I made. And I just stuck a bunch of very flimsy U-pins in them, in just the center part, and they work swimmingly. This is me pinning the veiling and the braids out of the way. This is Chloe trying to shape the fringe. It looks pretty regardless. It's a little bit long, but we didn't want to cut it at a risk of creating some horrendous micro bangs. This is Chloe taking out the silver jewelry that she has on. Yes, here is the bronzer. It's not a bronzer, it's more just like a shimmer balm. It's very faint, but it's very pretty. This is Chloe also taking off her necklace. And those are my earrings. They're little flowers, and I believe at some point Chloe will put on the little necklace. This is me with my heated glove on, curling Chloe's hair. Now Chloe's hair, once again, was washed the night before and is super soft. We used heat protectant with every layer, and the thing is, Chloe's hair naturally doesn't hold curls very well, so I had to split it into small sections to make sure those curls were very well defined. I'm also making sure I'm not getting too close to Chloe's scalp so I don't burn her. But yeah, those curls are looking cute. The sectioning and the pinning up is an absolute travesty, I know, but at least it is out of the way. So when it comes to curling Chloe's hair, I struggled a little bit with the ends because they were so downy and soft. They just refused to stay in the actual clamp. So I actually had to hold some myself. But I believe I do all the curls the same way, and I also clamp them a little bit before releasing them, and when I release them, I let them drop into my hand and I gently let them go. Because Chloe and I are discussing that her hair does not hold curls incredibly well, we plan to spray her hair with hairspray a little bit before we head to the location. Oh, look at that cute little one. So yes, we're just continuing the curling process. While I'm here, I'll also mention where I got the jewelry and the shoes and the dress. The dress I got from AliExpress for about $80, which is great. The shoes are actually just a pair of my old ballet slippers because I didn't want anything too overwhelming because she has a massive crown on her head. The jewelry, aka the earrings and the necklace, they are both from Kmart. The crown I made myself out of a double layered headband that I bought off of AliExpress, zip ties which I bought at the reject shop. I already had hot glue guns and toothpicks just for stability purposes. I borrowed some filigree molds from the storage room in one of Tanya's classes, and I filled them with hot glue, and I stuck them onto the zip ties where I wanted them to be. I also borrowed some spray paint. I didn't actually need to use a priming spray because I just went straight in with a pale baby blue paint. Obviously it's not meant to be baby blue. I just wanted it to be as close to white as possible, and it was opaque enough to actually cover the natural color of the zip ties, so the spray paint had a better chance at covering. I did about 3 coats of the front and back with some rose gold spray paint, which I also found at TAFE. Then I glued using a mix between hot glue and super glue. I glued a bunch of fake flowers that I also got off of AliExpress. And then once those flowers were dry, I used a wax pencil to pick up some rhinestones and diamantes and glue them to some of the flower petals with super glue. I had also previously tried on the crown, and speaking from experience, the part that tucks behind the ears is incredibly uncomfortable, and I didn't know how Chloe was going to react, so I bought a pair of those disposable earplugs that are kind of foamy or spongy, just so we could pierce the ends with those and give it a little bit more comfort. We're still curling, and the curls are looking pretty. Chloe is very patient. Yep, it looks gorgeous. I believe we're on like the last couple layers. I also hold the curling iron horizontally when I'm wrapping the curl, and then I hold it vertically upright when it's sitting and clamping on the actual barrel, and then I turn it upside down when I'm about to let the curls come out. Also, Chloe had some water and some cheese and biscuits. So before we went to the church to do the photo shoot, I just reapplied her lipstick and also her lip gloss. Oh, those curls are looking pretty. I will be honest though, they are looking a little bit uneven. There's the necklace, mainly because I was running out of time. Chloe's zhuzhing up her fringe because there was really not much I wanted to do with the fringe. The fringe is just kind of there to frame her face nicely. And it already does that. There's the crown. Just need to bend pieces out. There's Tanya. But yeah, our girl, she's ready to go. I don't know if I film it, but right afterwards we spray her hair. Yeah, there's me touching up the lips. We spray her hair with hairspray right before we go. And just touching up the blush, because you can never have too much blush, my darlings. She looks gorgeous. Lip gloss. And we are ready to go.